What was your reaction to the Kings selecting Keegan Murray with the 4th pick?
Well, I like Keegan Murray. I don't think there's any doubt that he's one of the elite players. It's one of those deals. People they always have their own opinions. Certainly, Ivy would have been a good pick. I think I kind of like Keegan for this team more. I think he's an easier fit, and they're both have a chance to be outstanding rookies. I have a lot of respect for Jay Billis, and I noticed just listening to him on Scott Van Pelt after the draft, and he was saying, he felt that Keegan Murray was the most NBA ready player of anybody in the draft, and I kind of believe that. That would be my kind of stance. Time will tell. We do know, if you've studied the draft over the years, like we all have, is that there's a good chance that 5 years from now, the best player in the draft may have been taken 15th or 20th.
Yeah.
That's happened so many times you can't even keep track. And some of the sure things will prove to be disappointments. And so that's it's a draft and it's a lottery. So, but I think Kings fans are going to be awfully happy with this young guy, and I think. I just think about anybody they drafted would have worked because of the need for talent, number one. And I think Sabonis makes everything work easier. I think they're so lucky to have a big that you can run an offense through. So whether they'd have taken with Keegan Murray or Ivy or maybe, I don't know, Dyson or whatever. I think but a lot of those guys would have been able to adjust very easily because, he'll get them the ball if they move and find them in good spots, and so I like that part of it. I think Sabonis really is a really good veteran to kind of build around.
You talk about the fit with Sabonis, and then you mentioned Jay Billis's conversation about the impact he can make right away as an NBA player. Jerry, the only thing I shouldn't say worried about. I think sometimes fans in Sacramento have these expectations that the impact this young man should be making is like franchise changing. And when I see Keegan Murray, I don't see him as franchise changing. I just see him as a solid player that can just keep growing and getting better and better. What do you see with him in this first year?
Well, I think I would agree with a lot of that. I've always said, I think one thing about the NBA, it's important for an NBA player to be really good, to be really outstanding, maybe even become a major star, is to do the common things uncommonly well. By that, I mean, you take a DeMar DeRozan. Well, what does he do? Well, he gets to his spots, makes 2-point shots. Yeah. A lot of people say, well, that but no, he's really good at it, and he's an all-star because he's good at it. Or the ultimate, Tim Duncan, was he the best at any phase of the game? No, but his fundamentals were so solid. He was really outstanding at every phase. In other words, doing the common things uncommonly well. And maybe a third example to me has always been Jimmy Butler, a guy that was late pick, and a lot of guys are competitors. And pretty much being in the NBA, you have to be a competitor at some level. But he's a fierce competitor. Yeah. He takes that one thing and it makes his overall game and value much more. So, I think with Keegan Murray, I think that was one of the things that, to me, you noticed right away. He's really good at a lot of things. Now, how well that translates to the NBA, and can he keep getting better at several things? Well, that leads to stardom, by the way.
Yeah.
Not saying it will, but that'll work.
The thing I'm curious about, and it's been a conversation with him, is they talk about ceilings a lot with guys in the draft. Do you think we factor that stuff in too much when evaluating players, like the age? people look at him, they say he's an old rookie. And I'm like, well, I mean, he's 21. It's not like he's an old man. He could still grow and become a better player. Hell, we see players in the later parts of their career get better.
Yeah.
I mean, Andrew Wiggins, right? Situation. Well, he turns out he was an instrumental piece to a championship team. But what do you make of age and ceiling when it comes to prospects?
Well, I think the age thing is overdone because we too much assume that a 19-year-old is going to get consistently better, and a lot of times they don't. Or a 22-year-old is going to get better, they don't over the years. I would say, like in Keegan's case, he's the same age basically as Michael Jordan was when he came to the league. He really turned out good, I thought. I mean, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Larry Bird, they were basically that age. Would you not draft them because they were that age?
Right.
And, that, I mean, it makes no sense. It's like, well, if he's really good, he should have 12, 13 years. I don't know how many Kings fans are worried about what's going to happen in 13 years. I know I'm not. I don't know if I have 13 years, but
you've got another 25,
yeah,
Jerry.
you're walking.
Maybe. Hey, we don't even know if there's going to be an Earth in 13 years.
You know what? Great point by Jerry Reynolds. That's what we need to think about when talking about the Kings. Don't get too far ahead. The Earth could be done.
Yeah,
soon.
So
Facts.
we may be invaded by aliens. I don't know.